Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for coming along to our webcast this morning on Power BI. If you're expecting to see something other than Power BI, you're probably in the wrong place, and now's your chance to move on. But thank you very much. My name is David Hitwell. I am an Office 365 specialist here at Rizhal. Prior to this job, I was an account director at Rizhal. And before that, I was at Microsoft for 9 years in various sort of technical roles. Also on the call today, I've got Matt Bradley. Matt, would you just like to quickly introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. I'm Matt Bradley. I'm an architect at Rizhal.
Thank you, Matt. So we'll start with we put a quote on the intro slide there, and really I suppose the key to all of this is about leveraging, and we're talking about leveraging two things here. One, we're talking about leveraging the information and the data within your organization as organizations are producing more and more data, and if we're not careful, we're going to get swamped with that data, or that data is going to get used, and it's not sort of fraud on. So we're really looking about can we make use of that data, and that's really what business intelligence is about. It's about taking that information and turning it into something useful. Microsoft's sort of saying around this is using any data, any way, anywhere. So we're talking across multiple platforms, using it in the way that suits you best, customizing it so you're seeing the things you want to see when you want to see it, and pulling sources in, whether that's sort of internal sources or external sources, third-party pieces of software. It's about getting that view that's important to you within the organization. The other thing we're talking about here is about leveraging your Microsoft investment. So I know from my times at Microsoft and from this role at Rizhal that you can make a sizable investment in Microsoft technologies, and the reason you make a sizable investment in Microsoft technology is that you want to improve the productivity within your business, you want to reduce costs, you want to introduce new ways of working. So it's important that you get as much benefit from that investment as you possibly can. Now, we're in a bit of a unique situation with Power BI, and Power BI itself is actually a free-to-use tool. Although there is Power BI Pro, which we will touch on as well, Power BI is free to use. So, you know, what that do today is go into that in a bit more detail and give you a demonstration of that. A couple of bits of housekeeping before we start. First of all, if we're going along, if you want to submit them in the instant message window, so you see there's a little sort of cloud bubble towards the bottom left. We will have a question and answer session. Yes, there are any questions that have been as we're going along answered, and then we'll just open up the mics at the end if people want to ask anything. If you are dialing in, if you could mute your phone, just keep the background noise as we can, and just as a heads up, we are recording this session. So it's available to you afterwards, and anybody else that couldn't make it, or anybody else that's particularly interested. So first of all, the agenda. So introductions we've done. I'm going to do a quick look at overall. Over to Matt, who's going to give us a detail. Basically, what is it? What's included? What's not included? What's in Pro? What's in the free version? How do you get started? But one of the key points about this today is that we actually give you a demonstration of how easy it is to pick up this tool and start using it within your organisation. We'll then have a quick look at the next steps, and then, as I said, we'll open up for question and answers. Somebody's just okay. So moving on one slide, which I seem to be having problems with. Matt, could you move it on a slide for me? Thank you. One more. I don't know why my button's not working.
So I'm showing the introducing Rizhal slide at the moment, David. Is that what you're seeing your end?
No, I've got the webcast guidance slide.
Okay.
Oh, the Rizhal, introducing Rizhal. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Perfect. I think I must just be on a bit of a slow connection. It's not responding. So from a very high level, Rizhal provide consulting and managed services One of the key points here, and I mentioned it before about leveraging Microsoft technology, we only deal with Microsoft technology, deal with technology from any other business. So we have become an expert in deploying Microsoft technology, and we have a very close working relationship with Microsoft. We are a Tier 1 managed partner across the whole of the Microsoft platform. That includes moving people to the cloud, and it includes on-premise deployments such as Windows 10, System Center, Skype for Business, could be Skype in the cloud. So we basically cover the whole of the stack. We are the Microsoft UK Partner of the Year, although that's coming up for renewal soon. So we were regarded as being the key partner, as playing a key role in Microsoft's partner ecosystem over the last year. So if we have a look at the visual business, IDC produced a white paper a short while ago called The Future of Partner, and basically they identified 4 stages of a partner, or 4 key parts that a partner must address in order to be and continue to be competitive in this marketplace. The first was transactional, so this is about just taking bits of business in, moving on, bits of business in, but that's not going to be long term, that's not sustainable. The next point is being project based, so it's taking on much larger pieces of work. The next stage is around introducing a managed service, so it's being able to support not only deployments that you have done yourself as an organization, but also taking on board other deployments that other organizations have done to provide that holistic approach. And then the 4th stage is about producing your IP. The reason for bringing that up is that's pretty much where Visual are going now. We have our consultancy division, we have our services division, and we have our solution division as well. So the consulting division is divided into 2 main groups, technology and business. The technology group is really concerned with point deployments. So somebody could come to us and say, can you deploy Skype? Can you deploy SharePoint? Can you move us to cloud? Can you move us onto Azure? We can, absolutely fine. But what we are seeing is a major shift in the market to the business, what we call the business side of things, which is more of a transformational project. So it's about moving large parts of the organization. It's about introducing multiple pieces at a time and making sure that they all work together. So obviously when you're talking transformation, you're moving away from those point deployments, but you're also getting into the realms of making sure that the security identity works, everything is managed properly. So these are much bigger projects. Matt sits within the business group, and the business group is really made up of engagement managers, which are like project managers, and architects as well. The managed services organization is, as I just said, about supporting what you have. Solutions, where we are building a number of industry-specific solutions based mainly on Office 365 CRM, addressing particular needs. So we're looking at education, we're looking at justice, and we're looking at the legal sector, we're looking at retail. So it's taking the Microsoft stack and developing our own pieces on top to make it specific for that particular environment. Okay, moving on one slide. Matt, if you can help me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm struggling.
So I've just done that, David. So we've got leading with transformation now.
Right, okay, that's fine. It must just be slow. So if I go back to talking about transformation, we really talk about this in 3 main areas. One is about connected business, one is about end-user computing, and one is about optimized service vision. Connected business, and that's the one that's really relevant today for business intelligence. This is about presenting the right information to the right people at the right time. Classic example, fire service. As they're on their way to an incident, they need to be fed information about what they're going to see, when they get there, what's around it, what they know about the building, what are the other services doing about it. So it's surfacing that information as we go along. End user computing, this really falls into 2 areas, or what we're seeing is falling into 2 areas. One is about introducing a new way of working and updating the desktop, and another way is about introducing mobile and flexible working. What can we do on the people to work where they want to work and work in a cost-effective manner. And the third piece here is about optimized service vision. So this is very much looking at the data center. Is cloud the right option for you? Is on-premise the right option for you, or is it a mixture of both? And we're basically looking at that. And as I said, these transformational projects encompass multiple products, multiple solutions in order to get to where you need to get to. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. Much on where we're seeing the business heading for now. So that's all I wanted to do to kick off. Can I hand over to you to start to go and turn around Power BI?
Okay, thanks, David. Hi, everybody. So we're going to start looking at Power BI. As I promised in the webcast invite, we'll go through Power BI, and it really is free. So I was talking to a customer recently, and they said, "Oh, we're collecting click information from our website using Google Analytics, but we just can't view that information and get that data out of Google Analytics." They'd already deployed Office 365, but they didn't have Power BI, and they had no idea that this was there for them. It's free. It will pull that data out of Google Analytics, and they can really share within the organization which pages people are viewing on the website, which is the most viewed page. They can see trends over time. They were really amazed and shocked that this is available. So what's Power BI though? It's a software as a service based BI solution. So you get transformation, the ability to pull data in to Power BI. There's some pre-built dashboards and reports out there for popular software as a service solutions. So Google Analytics comes under this category. If you've deployed Microsoft Dynamics CRM online, out of the box with the standards, sales, service, marketing, deployment of Microsoft Dynamics CRM, you can get some nice dashboards. Real-time dashboard updates, particularly useful in Internet of Things, IoT scenarios where you have a bunch of devices out there streaming data. We're bringing that into Azure typically, storing that in a database, and we want to see exactly what's going on at that particular moment. We can do that through Power BI. Data exploration using natural language querying, so the ability to ask natural language questions of your data through Power BI, and also through integration with Cortana. So in a health scenario, how many people came into accident in an emergency in the last hour? In an education scenario, how many students have we got studying mathematics in year 2? Lots of different ways that you can just ask natural language questions of your data, and Power BI will do its best to try and give you an answer. Live connections to your data sources. So if you have already made investments, say, in a data warehouse on premises, you can connect back to your on-premises data warehouse and use this cloud-based software as a service product in Power BI to produce dashboards, reports, and share those with your users throughout the organization. Mobile BI, pretty much everybody has a tablet these days, mobile phones. When you're out and about on the move, you want to know what's going on. There's an app available there on the 3 major platforms, so Android, iOS, Windows. You can install the Power BI app today. You log in, you can see your dashboard, all of your reports, and what Power BI does, and it's really nice, is it changes the format of your report so that it's great. It's suitable for viewing on the screen size that you have on your mobile device. So well worth experimenting with and having a look at. Rapid pace of innovation through monthly releases. So there's a site out there where you can go and provide suggestions for Power BI. The community then vote on those. Several of those have now been developed by Microsoft there, so they're being very responsive to customer feedback and turning those changes around. So a good example of that, and a suggestion that I upvoted probably about 6 months ago that's now in the product, is the ability for mobile BI to analyze and view data and cache data so it's viewable offline. So many people out and about may want to look at dashboards and reports in Power BI, but they don't have that 3G or 4G connectivity available. So the Power BI app will provide some offline viewing capability that Microsoft has now built into the product. Developer tools. So if you have developers in your organization, you can integrate Power BI into your applications. You can build applications to push data up into Power BI. You can integrate Power BI with your externally facing websites and show some of your visualizations to the general public. So perhaps one of the most important points is that it's integrated with Office 365, but you don't need Office 365 to use Power BI. That's a really commonly asked question. So if you don't have Office 365 today, don't think you can't use Power BI, and I'll show you that, how to sign up for Power BI in a few moments, but you certainly don't need Office 365. Although, I have to say, I would encourage you to explore Office 365. It's an excellent product and complements Power BI very well. Pricing then, free, as I said, or the Power BI Pro is £6.20 per user per month, or if you already have the Office 365 Enterprise E5 that David already mentioned, then you already have Power BI Pro as it comes with it. So how do I sign up? So as an individual, you can just go to powerbi.com right now, click the sign up button, put your email address in there, go through the process. Power BI will send you an email out. You confirm that you're you, and then you have access to Power BI. It really is that simple, and that's the free version of Power BI sign up. So I'll show you that process in a few moments. If you already have Office 365, then your administrator can sign up through the purchase service pages in the Office 365 admin portal. Although one thing to note, if you do go through the process, and this is the third bullet point on this slide here, and you get a message asking you to contact your organization's admin, it probably means that you've deployed something called Active Directory Federation services. So what this means is that you actually need to go back to your IT department or your Office 365 administrator and say, please, can you assign me a Power BI license? Assure them that it's free, and they'll add that to you, and you'll be able to log in and you'll see Power BI available in the Office 365 portal. Right, so I'll show you the sign-up process, and we'll come back to what we can do for free in a moment. So let me just show you how that works and how easy it is. So I'm going to go to powerbi.com. If you feel like following along, please do that if you don't currently have Power BI. So you see there's a button here, Get Started Free. So you can get started now without doing anything by downloading the Power BI desktop tool. So this is something that you will need to download anyway, but you don't even need to sign up. Power BI desktop, that I'll show you in a few moments, enables you to pull data in, create dashboards. It's an application that you just install on your desktop. What you don't get with that, of course, is the ability to then share your dashboards and insights through the online service in Power BI. But if you're not able to sign up for Power BI and you do have rights to install Power BI desktop, that's a great opportunity to do that at that moment there. So I'm going to go ahead and click the sign up button for Power BI. I've got a test user here that doesn't currently have Power BI that I'm going to set up, and this person, so this is an account that's already in Office 365 that doesn't have a Power BI free license. So what this will do, for those people that are familiar with Office 365, it will auto provision a Power BI free license for me in Office 365 now. You can turn that off if that rings alarm bells and you don't want your users to do that. There is some funky PowerShell that you need to run in order to do that. So I'm going to hit the sign up button there. So it's noticed that they know me already. I'm already using Office 365. I'm going to click sign in to go to the Office 365, sign on, sign in there. And in a few moments, I'm agreeing to the terms and conditions. Almost there. Hopefully everybody can see my screen that I'm sharing here as well. I probably should have checked earlier on.
It's all good, Matt. It's all good, mate. Yeah.
So you can share the love here at this stage and invite others within your organization. Tell them all about Power BI. Tell your friends and send those invitations. I don't have any friends, so I'm just going to skip that particular step in the sign-up process. And I think this is the point that we get redirected to the Power BI online service. So hopefully this won't take too long, less than a minute it does tell me, and the bar is racing away, so I'm hopeful. Some trivia there, I wasn't aware of that. So we're in now. This is it. This is the online service for Power BI, and this is what you get for free. So I can bring in data that's already available in my organization from Excel, that's hidden in CSV files. So many organizations out there do a lot of self-service reporting through Excel, and in many cases this is strung together with lots of VBA, lots of macros going on in Excel worksheets. So what Power BI enables you to do is to ditch all that and get a good standard tool that everybody understands to get some efficiency around this whole self-service business intelligence process, and really get some nice productivity and share your insights with your colleagues. So I can connect, as you'd expect, to live data in the Azure SQL database service or the data warehouse service that's out there. I can look at content packs that have been published in my organization. However, this is something that we'll come on to in that's actually a pro feature. But we'll have a look just at the online services for the moment. So these online services constantly being added to here. So this is where you can connect to online services, and I'm pretty sure that Google Analytics is in here somewhere. Let's see if we can search for the content. Yep, there we go. So this is where I can start connecting to Google Analytics. I put my username, password in, and I can bring that data and into Power BI and start creating my reports and dashboards. So a bunch of other services, a lot of Microsoft ones as well, as you'd expect, a lot of non-Microsoft ones in there too. So if you see anything in there that you think, actually, my organization's using Salesforce, let's see what data we can get into Power BI. Or what else have we got in here that's interesting? So we've got web trends. I did speak to a customer recently that was using MailChimp. So we've got some integration there. Lots of services and lots of things to explore there. So this is the online service. What I'm going to move to is the Power BI desktop. So again, you can download that from the download arrow at the top here. There's the download for the desktop. Power BI gateways. So these are the this is the way that you connect back to on-premises data sources, be they IBM DB2 databases, SQL Server analysis services, Excel documents even that you have stored on a file share back on premises. If you install the gateway, this is the way Power BI can refresh its data in the cloud from those on-premises sources. We've got Power BI for mobile. So this is the opportunity for you to download the mobile app. and some very recent additions to Power BI. So the publisher for Excel means that I can select a range of cells in an Excel document. I can select some charts, visualizations that I've created in Excel, and I can just click pin, and I'll pin them to a dashboard in Power BI, so I can share those insights that I may already have in Excel easily with my colleagues. Analyze in Excel is a nice little plugin you can get for Excel. So if I'm looking at a dashboard or a report and I want to bring that data in Excel and analyze it further, that's a plugin for Excel that enables me to do that. So we're going to look at the desktop, which is the authoring, the main authoring tool. It's possible to author in the online service, but you'll really want to use the Power BI desktop. So we're going to go through quickly, just getting some data from out there on the internet, pulling that into the desktop, creating a visualization and publishing that to Power BI. Obviously, reminding everybody at this point that this is all free so far. So I'm going to use this nomisweb.co.uk. It's a free service from the Office for National Statistics, some very interesting stuff on here. So I'm just going to get some data that we can use to create some nice visualizations. So we've got some claimant counts for job seekers allowance and universal credit in here. I'm just going to pull the data through for the claimant counts here. So I need to make a few selections around what I need. So I'm going to pull through some of the countries. Let's decide that we want to pull all of those. Select a bunch of. Let's select all dates. Let's go mad. See what's on rates and proportions. Now we'll leave that, and let's actually just get male and female claimant counts, so we can compare the two, and Power BI will do the total for us, so we don't really need that. So I'm going to summary of my selections. What this Nomis website has is a nice little API. So this produces a URL for me that will send back my data in a CSV format. So if I go to the download data, I'll get the links over here, and I can get a CSV format out of Nomis. So I'm just right clicking. I want to copy the link there because I'm going to feed that back to Power BI. So I'm going to go back into Power BI desktop now. So this is where you can see all of the sources that are available to Power BI. Microsoft constantly adding to this: the basics, CSV, XML, SharePoint folders, some more surprising ones perhaps here: IBM DB2, Sybase, Teradata, Azure services, Exchange. The list goes on. Even support for R script. So R is a statistical programming language, particularly popular in education. Academics use that a lot, so some nice integration with R there. Some integration with the data lake store for Azure, which is interesting to explore, as well as the big data services through HD Insight. But what we're going to do, we're just going to use the basic old web. So just to mention then, so if you're already doing a lot of reporting out of Excel and you're stuck in Excel and emailing Excel documents about, this is where you can connect to your existing workbooks and suck data out of them into Power BI through the Excel connection there. So I'm going to click Connect on Web, and that URL that I got out of the nomisweb.co.uk service, I'm just going to copy paste that into there. So Power BI is going to go off now. It's going to query that service, and have a look at the data, and it's given me a sample here. Now I can just load that as it is straight into Power BI for analysis, but what I actually want to do is I want to edit that first. There's a few columns. I want to do a bit of tidying up. So this is the place where I can do all that tidying up, pivoting of data, transformation of data. This is where what happens in many organizations is we've got lots of access databases going on, unmanaged. We've got loads of VBA going on. We've got macros going on. This replaces all that with the ability to use all of these tools and some quite complex transformations available in here. We'll just show some basic ones today to be able to get what you need rather than having that potentially challenging scenario of a lot of VBA to support. So anybody joining from that works in the public sector will probably recognize some of the geography codes. This is a good way to be able to join up this data with other data from other public sector sources. So we could maybe look at job seekers allowance, claimant counts that we've got here with, and bring in some population data for all of these geographies so we can get a sense of proportion. So for the purpose of tidying this up, I'm just going to remove this column. I'm just going to rename this column as country there. Let's have a look. Power BI has recognized my date as a date already. This column, let's see what's available here. So we've just got blanks or values, so nothing particularly interesting there. So I'm going to get rid of that one. I noticed that we've got some missing figures, some nulls here. I'm not interested in those, so I'm just going to take the nulls out. And this column in the end, I'm also not interested in. Let's remove that. We're going to rename this one. So let's just call it claimants. And let's just rename this one to gender. And finally, we'll make this nice and tidy. We'll call this one. Oh, see now I've just deleted data. Didn't mean to do that. And this is a really nice way of introducing the applied steps over here on the right hand side. So as I'm doing all these things, what Power BI Desktop's doing is it's recording all of the steps and the way that I'm transforming this data. And what I find really useful is I can go back at any point and see how the data looked at that particular point before I applied the subsequent steps. Really nice way of seeing what's going on and clicking through and understanding what's happening there. So I'm going to delete that step that I made to delete that date column. Of course, what I really wanted to do was rename that just to date. In fact, I didn't want to insert it there. I wanted to put it at the end. So let me rename that to date. So I've got my data set. We're not going to call it query one. We're just going to call it claimant count, give it a nice name. And I'm going to close and apply that. So Power BI Desktop is going to go off now, query that data source, and bring the data set back in from Nomis Web. So I can now start very quickly. Let's have a look at our claimant counts by date. Let's make that a bit bigger. What we can see here is that Power BI has recognized that I've got a date column, and it's very helpfully attempted to summarize that data and sum the data, that's the monthly data, into yearly data. Of course, that's not appropriate in this particular case because we've got claimant counts reported by month. So I'm going to remove this date hierarchy, and this gives us a much more clear picture of exactly what's been happening since the 70s up to present day in terms of claimant counts. Perhaps what's interesting about this data, in fact, let's make it a line chart. That'll look a bit nicer, won't it? And maybe if we add a legend in by country, so we can see the individual countries that are available there. So people that have lived in the UK for a certain amount of time will perhaps recognise the recession here in the early 90s, and you can see what happened there after 2008. The claimant count increased, dipped a little bit, increased, and went back down again. So we can certainly see what's been happening there. If we want to have a look to see how the claimant count affected men and women, we can add our gender in here. Let's put this down here as a slicer. So I'm going to change that to a slicer. So just to mention then, lots of visualizations here out of the box with Power BI Desktop that are available. There are more that being developed online. I think it's visuals.powerbi.com. Let's just go off piste here a bit and see if that is the case. Yes, so this is a repository of custom visuals that are available out there that have been developed by the community. You can develop your own if you're really interested and you have the time. A particularly useful one here that I've used is a Gantt chart to be able to produce some visualizations around who's working on what, who's free at particular points. So some word cloud, really nice visualization there. I encourage everybody to go and have a look at some of the quite funky visualizations out there at this custom visual repository. And if you click the three dots, this is where you can import them and use them within your own reports and dashboards. So I can have a look here and filter my report and look. It seems that in the recession that happened in the 90s, we've got fewer female. It looks as though at least the impact on women compared to men that came out a lot worse, it seems, in that 92 roughly recession. And anyway, you can browse around the data and get some insight out of it. Interestingly, I was just driving in this morning, listening to the radio, and they were talking about cancer diagnoses. And one of the things that they noticed in the 2008 recession that occurred shortly after, or the downturn, was that the number of diagnoses went up. And there's a correlation between the amount of unemployment and those people claiming job seekers allowance with cancer diagnoses. So it would be nice if there's a publicly available data set, we could get that into Power BI as well, if we had the time, and look and to see the extent to which that was the case. So I can bring more data sets in here and analyze them, join them all up. There's a modeling tool in here. I can create relationships between my tables. I can create calculated fields. There's a language called DAX, D-A-X, which stands for Data Analysis Expressions, where I can really start creating some complex calculations and metrics within Power BI Desktop. So this is page 1 of my report. So I'm just going to say claimants, and I could create another report here. So let's just have a look at claimants, and let's say we want to add do that by gender, and then do something like have page level filters around country, so people can filter on country. So I'm going to just name that. So I've got my couple of reports, a couple of nice little visualizations in there. I want to share that with my colleagues. So what do I do now? In fact, I'm just going to, before I do that, I'm just going to sign out and sign back into Power BI Desktop, because I may be signed in as a different user. So I'm going to sign into the service that I just signed up for, and just glancing at my email address. Try and get that right. Oh, there we go. So I've logged into my Power BI service, and I can now go ahead and publish that. I'll save my desktop. So this is saved as a .pbix file. So at the moment, all of that data that I've sucked into Power BI Desktop is also stored with the pbix. Power BI also does support direct quick query with sources. So if you were doing this against an on-premises data warehouse or analysis services, it will directly query the data as you slice and dice in your dashboard, and you filter using your slicers rather than holding the data within Power BI itself. So I'm just going to call this Claimant Count Webcast. So that's saved now, and it's going to publish to the Power BI service. So let me close that down. I'll go back to the browser and back to Power BI itself. Just see if I can refresh that page and see if I get my dashboard available. So it thinks I've clicked on Content Pack. So I'm going to go to my workspace, and there it is. So I've got my webcast, my Claimant Count webcast data set, and my reports there for viewing online. Now, what I can also do, if people are able to, and I can demonstrate this, so if it's safe for me to share this visualization externally and there's no sensitivity around the data, what I can do with Power BI is publish this onto the web. Again, all free, so I'm going to click that. It asks me if I want to create an embed code. Yes, I'll do that. Publish that out. Gives me a URL. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy this into the chat. So if anybody wants to click on this, they should be able to have a look at the visualization. So I'm going to paste that in there. So if you want to have a click on that, you'll see, and let me just double check, make sure that URL is good. So there you go. So you can have a look and explore the data, and you should get the interactivity available as well. Those, of course, then with this code, you can embed them in your websites, embed them in blogs, and so on. So a really nice little feature for Power BI there. So great, I've got my reports. What I can do in my reports is I can pin my visuals, and I can start creating what's called a dashboard. So dashboards are all about pinned visuals in Power BI. So let's say
Matt, I'm just conscious it's about 1:45, mate. I know you love this stuff. Really,
I know.
I'll make sure.
Thanks for the warning, David. So I'm just gonna.
Okay.
I'll speed up a bit. So I've got my Claimant Dashboard. Here's where I can ask the natural language questions about my data. Let's just, how many claimants in England in May 2001, say. So this is a really powerful way to be able to explore your data. So Power BI will attempt to pick what it feels is the most appropriate visualization based on the question you're asking. Again, all free stuff. I'm going to show this. I can share this dashboard with my colleagues. So let me just go back to my dashboard here. I can share that, enter their email address. So I know there's somebody else in my tenant there, Katie Jordan, that she will get an email message saying that I've shared this with her. She'll be able to then access a read-only copy of this particular dashboard. So all this for free. Let's switch back to the slides and just see whether I covered everything that you get for free. So create and view your dashboards. Yep, we did that. Author content through Power BI Desktop. Explore your data through natural language. Did that. We showed where we can download the mobile app. It's available in the store as well if you want to search on it in the store. Curated content packs, Dynamics, Salesforce, Google Analytics, we mentioned those. We pulled some data in from the web actually, but we saw all the sources that were available to pull data into Power BI Desktop. We can publish to web. We did that. You've got the link in the chat. Now we can also refresh our content with the free version. We can do that daily. So if we connected to a database in Azure SQL database service, that's possible through the free version, and we can set up a daily refresh on that data. We can stream data in at 10,000 rows an hour, and I should mention that there's a data limit on free, so I can upload a gig's worth, and that's compressed, by the way, so it's actually a lot more than a gig when you think about it. But if I go back to the Power BI service, I can see in here, is it in the settings? There's a way in here of being able to view how much. Oh, there it is. 1 megabyte of 1 gigabyte that I've used. So it tells you how much you've got there. So what do I get for my extra £6.70 a month? Perhaps everything that the free version does, of course. More frequent refreshes, 1 million rows an hour for streaming if you have any streaming data. We can consume live sources. So this means we can use direct query. So whereas my dashboard, I uploaded the data into Power BI, I could connect that directly to SQL database, the Azure SQL database service. If I wanted to connect back to an on-premises database using the data connectivity gateway, I could do that direct querying back to my on-premises database rather than kind of caching that data in Power BI. So that direct querying is not available. You have to do the periodic refresh daily in the free version. Collaborate with the team using groups, and this perhaps most importantly, if you want to create standard dashboards and report packs, you really need to use organizational content packs. So that dashboard, that report, and that data set that we created, we can package that up in a content pack in the Pro version. That's then available for people to deploy in their own Power BI instances. And whereas if I share, when I shared my dashboard in the free version, people get a read-only version of it. In the Pro version with the content packs, they can edit those dashboards, they can make changes to them, they can explore the data, they can pin the visuals to other dashboards. So a lot more capability through content packs and sharing that's available there. Access control and sharing through Active Directory groups. Integration with the data catalog service. So a great service to explore, and another free service for up to 50 users. If you already have data repositories in your organization, you want to be able to document those repositories, or at least bring the community together to document the data in those repositories and create metadata. You can do that through the data catalog. Really nice and perhaps hidden away service. People don't talk about it, but it's a really nice little service that's available there. So market leadership, the Gartner Magic Quadrant, I love these, really interesting. You can see where Microsoft is there. In fact, let me put this back in presentation mode so it's big enough for you to see. So catching up with the likes of Tableau and Click on the ability to execute axis there, but really in completeness of vision, Microsoft's way out at the moment, doing some fantastic stuff around business intelligence and analytics. If you want to have a look at that, I've used our URL shortener, rizhu.al/MQBI. You can have a look at the whole Magic Quadrant report there for business intelligence and analytics platform. So just where Power BI fits in the bigger picture in terms of Cortana intelligence, here it is down here, dashboards and visualizations. But there's a shed load of other services that you may consider deploying in your organizations. The SQL Data Warehouse service, Data Lake Store. So if you're not familiar with data lakes, they complement a data warehouse by allowing you to analyze semi-structured and unstructured data. So you just basically throw everything at the data lake, whereas with a data warehouse, you design that schema up front, and it's schema at design time, as it's referred to. You have your extract, transform, load process, push that into your data warehouse. With the data lake store, you just dump everything in there, and it's schema at query time. So you need a lot better skills. You need skills in being able to query the data lake store, and Microsoft provide a language called USQL for that. But a really nice and quick way of being able to dump data together and get some analytics out of it. Machine learning, predictive analytics, being able to many use cases in lots of industries, but being able to identify patterns in data and using them to be able to predict what's going to happen or what may happen, and getting a sense for that. There's the data lake analytics that I just mentioned that goes with data lake. There's the big data Hadoop on a service called HD Insight with Microsoft. Although unless you had some HD Insight specific Hadoop skills, I would definitely push people towards Data Lake Store and Data Lake Analytics. Those services a lot easier to deploy, and a really good pay-as-you-go service. Whereas with the HD Insight service, you have a server that you have to pay per minute. Stream Analytics and Event Hubs, bringing vast amounts of data in, potentially from Internet of Things sources, and then being able to visualize those in Power BI. Cognitive services, bot framework, and Cortana intelligence, all built in there. Bots, very hot topic at the moment, really interesting. So if you're not familiar with bots, you commonly see them on websites these days, where you'll get a box open saying, what do you want to know about? And you'll say, I want to know about this particular product, and it'll give you some standard responses and try to understand what you need before it then passes you to a real human being. So that's where it fits in the bigger picture. So I think it's back over to David, and hopefully I've covered everything I need, and everybody knows now how to deploy Power BI, get the free version, powerbi.com, very easy. Any problems through the sign-in process probably means you've got ADFS and you just need to contact your Office 365 administrator.
No, that's great. Thank you very much, Matt. I suppose I'm taking away two things from that. One is the simplicity of getting a tool like this up and running, of how simple it is to pull in different data sources without too much background information, but also the flexibility of being able to present that data as you want to see it. So I wanted to, I'll keep this really short because I do want to throw it open to questions. Matt, I'm struggling with moving on a slide, but I wanted to quickly touch on, yeah, thank you. Quickly touch on E5 and then some suggested next steps. So E5 was the sort of premium Office 365 SKU that came out in December of last year. You can see Power BI Pro sits in the purple column in the middle around personal organizational insights, but just as a very brief look, the stuff in the green boxes is around modern collaboration. So this is building out the Skype for Business platform. Most of this is focused around cloud PBX. So as opposed to having a PBX on site, a telephone PBX on site, you're moving that up into the cloud. So it's managed as another workload, another communication method up in the cloud. They're also doing some very nice things around PSTN calling. So you will be able to call out directly from Office 365 out to the PSTN as opposed to coming back on site and then calling out through an existing PBX infrastructure. So there's a lot of stuff around Skype that's happening there. And they've also invested heavily, when I say they, I mean Microsoft, on the security side of things. So at the minute there are 3 products in there: Lockbox, Advanced Threat Protection, which is looking at zero-day attacks, and eDiscovery for investigation. I was in Microsoft yesterday at a briefing, and they are looking to add another piece of functionality into E5 on the security side of things, which I believe is called Advanced Security Management. So it allows you to identify suspicious behavior around the accounts that you have. So whether people are downloading a mass amount of data from Office 365, or they're storing it into Box or Dropbox or that kind of thing. So it's a way of understanding and identifying suspicious behavior, which is obviously vitally important because the information is key here. So just on the last slide, Matt, if you wouldn't mind. Just suggested next steps. I suppose to summarize, come and speak to us if you're looking at deploying Power BI Pro. The way we can engage can vary from, we just need a day with you just to discuss through what we'd like to do. Typical architectural design session, basically you tell us what you're looking to do, we tell you how you can roughly go ahead and do it and the sources you can come in. So it's a great way of sort of making that first step onto Power BI. And then we have a whole range all the way up to data lakes, data warehouses, being able to structure that information, being able to bring it in. So I suppose the key message there is, if you're looking to deploy this, come and talk to us. If you're looking at perhaps some of the other bits and pieces, security or the collaboration pieces, have a look at E5 as well. So I kind of wanted to just cover that off as suggested next steps. You've got our contact details, but I don't think we had, because we weren't so long. No, we didn't. Now, I assume you're able to unmute yourselves and please just fire away.
So just to mention, also as well as some of the tools and technologies that are on this slide here around data platform and business intelligence, we also have a more business consulting focused engagement around business intelligence and data platform, and that's around forming a strategy for an organization around data platform. So talking to various departments, teams and groups across an organization, understanding what's currently in place, what tools are currently used, and then defining what we see as a strategy for business intelligence, selecting a set of tools, understanding the organizational strategy, understanding what the goals of individual departments are, bringing those two together, implementing a metrics program, so being able to do things like scorecarding, introducing key performance indicators and so on, and wrapping all that up in a strategy which includes a technology as well as a business strategy for business intelligence and data platform. As well as the strategy, we have the box products, so SQL Server 2016 and earlier versions. If you have any issues with that, we can do a platform optimization, particularly around performance issues, modernization, so taking older versions of SQL Server and moving everybody to 2016 or 14, and that's also encompasses consolidation as well, and looking at platform deployment, so